Good morning, everybody. Lovely to see you again today. So it's my last assembly before we get to half term, and I hope that you have had a lovely week. This week we are talking about Jesus's teachings, and today I'm going to talk to you about the salt and the light. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a quote from a book, very popular book, one that I think that you've probably all read, and I'm going to see if you can guess which book that this is from. If a person has ugly thoughts, it begins to show on the face. And when that person has ugly thoughts every day, every week, every year, the face gets uglier and uglier until you can hardly bear to look at it. A person who has good thoughts, however, can never be ugly. You can have a wonky nose and a crooked mouth and a double chin, and you could have stick-out teeth. But if you have good thoughts, it will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Does anyone know what book that's from? Yeah, it is from Roald Dahl, The Twits. And it's that last bit that I want us to think about today. So if you have good thoughts, it will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Now, this is going to help us understand our assembly a little bit today, because we are thinking about salt and light. Now, there's a Bible passage that I'm just going to read you. And it says, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That passage is saying that all of you, all of us, are the salt and the light of the earth. And what does that mean? What does salt do? What do we think about when we think about salt? We use it to put on our food, don't we? Now, does salt taste very nice on its own? We probably don't go along and just eat a piece of salt, do we? But we do put it on things like our chips, for example, and it makes them taste really yummy if we have a little bit of salt on it. And what that means is that together we make things better, don't we? So when we are the salt of the earth, when we are able to join together and work together, we make things better, don't we? We preserve things, we make things taste better, and it works better together. Now, the light of the world, we are that beaming light that comes out, aren't we? When you walk around and you are happy and you are talking to people, then your light shines out and you brighten up the world. Now, Jesus wanted his followers to shine out so that everybody could see all the amazing things that they were doing. And that's exactly the same for you, isn't it? We want your light to shine out from within. And just like that Roald Dahl quote that we had, that says that if you have good thoughts, it will shine out of your face like sunbeams. So that's what we want to do, isn't it? We want you to have that light and that salt, and for it to shine out of you, and for you to be really positive and have that impact and be able to share things with other people. I wonder how you could be salt and light in the world. What can you think of that you could do to be the light of the world today, to shine out to others, to make others feel better, maybe, to teach people something? How could you do that in your day? Have a little think and wonder what about you could do to make that happen. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was that sometimes when we're thinking about the light and the salt, we're thinking about other people, but we also need to think a little bit about ourselves, don't we? Now, I'm going to describe 3 people to you, 3 different characters. So we have Miss or Mr. Perfect. Now, everything always has to be right that Mr. or Mrs. Perfect do. Work is very neat. If you make a mistake, you have to start again. And if something goes wrong, it's very upsetting. Even if you can't do anything about it, it is still very upsetting to that person. Now, there's Miss or Mr. Please everybody else. So you're always conscious of what other people think about you. You really, really worry and you wonder what people are saying about you, or if you've done the right thing, or if people are going to judge you. And then there's Miss or Mr. I cannot believe I got it wrong. So you sit awake at night and you worry about mistakes that you've made. cannot believe I didn't get that question right in maths today. I cannot believe I did that today. And you worry about it and you just sit and you ponder on it and worry about it. Now, I imagine there's some characteristics in each of those three characters that we identify with as people. So it might be that you have the characteristics of the Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. Everything that you do has to be right. You might think that you have those characteristics of the person who always worries about when they got it wrong. It goes back over the day and thinks about, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Or maybe the person who really worries about what other people think about them. Now that comes from lots of different pressures, doesn't it? But all of those pressures are often put on us by us, aren't they? Because that isn't what other people think about us. Because other people want us to be happy and they want us to shine our light out, don't they? And they want us to be the light of the world, like we talked about. And so, actually, when we step back from those three characters and we think about it, it's not other people thinking, oh, why did they get that wrong? It's not other people thinking, oh, what am I going to say about that person? It's not other people thinking, oh, isn't that amazing that everything they've done is perfect and that they must always get it right? That comes down to us, doesn't it? So sometimes the hardest person to please is yourself. And that takes a while to have a little think about and take a step back and think it's okay to get things wrong sometimes, isn't it? And it is okay for other people around us to sometimes be the light of the world and shine upon us to make us feel better. So just think about that today. Just think about we need to listen sometimes to that other voice inside us that says it's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to not always feel amazing about everything. And that's okay to have good days and bad days. It just means that the next day or the next lesson that we go to, we try our best again and we try and shine that light out to everyone around us. Now, I'm just going to show you a little list of things because we have got half term coming up. And it's a funny half term, isn't it? Because we know that there aren't lots of places to go. There aren't lots of things to do. And I've spoken to some people in school today, like Mrs. Bailey, what am I going to do in half term? It's going to be a bit boring. Now, there is a list that I've sent to all of your teachers, and it's 100 fun activities to do inside. Because we can't go very far at the moment, and sometimes the weather isn't amazing, but this is a list of 100 fun things that you might be able to do inside your house. So I'm just having a quick flick through. I'm going to tell you a few of them, but also we'll make sure that this is on the website so that you can go and access it via that as well. So it says you could do some yoga at home. So you could either watch some yoga on a channel or you could make up your own yoga moves. You could maybe do some indoor camping. So maybe get a blanket, put it between your furniture, turn off the lights, and you could have torches and pretend like you're camping outside in the dark. You could make your own board game. You could draw out a family tree. So work out all of your relatives and draw out a huge family tree on a big piece of paper. You could, learn origami. Now, I know we did a bit of origami in our last assembly, didn't we? So maybe you could become amazing and show me your amazing origami. You could try and make a meal. So maybe try and feed your family. You might need a little bit of help with that, but maybe do a meal for your family. Maybe write an email or write a letter to a member of your family or a friend that you haven't seen for ages. Oh, that's a good one. Can you pretend to be a teacher? Can you teach your family something that you've learned at school? That would be interesting, isn't it? What could you teach them? Maybe you could teach them their times tables. Can you look out the window and see what you can see and then draw a picture of it? Make up your own stories. Guess who? So play a game of guess who where you have to think of a character or a person that other people might know and then they have to give clues as to who it could be. This is one that would be good. You could do a fashion shoot. So dress your family members up and take photos of them. So put all the different clothes on or dressing up clothes that you have and then take photos of them. Lovely, interesting things on there. So we'll make sure that this is on the website. So if you are thinking this half term, my goodness, what am I going to do inside? Maybe have a quick look through here and see if you can find some inspiration of something that you can do. Okay, let's close our eyes for a prayer. Dear God, do we always want to please other people? Do we do things that we know that are wrong simply to be part of the crowd? Are there changes that we need to make so that we feel comfortable on the inside? Do we try our best to be the light of the world? Do we make sure that our thoughts are good and therefore sunbeams come from our faces? Dear God, thank you for everything that you do for us. Amen. Right. Have a lovely rest of your week and have a fantastic half term. And I will see you the week after.